Oh my gosh. What a night this was, y'all. A night that has changed professional wrestling forever. It's a night that really doesn't feel real, does it, y'all? Yo, Ulysses. It's like, y'all know things are... Oh, shut up, phone. I don't need the notifications. But, yeah, y'all know things are wild when I'm suddenly doing a live stream. Because we all know I don't do that very often. And usually whenever these wrestling shows are going on, I'm usually probably asleep because the weekends are usually iffy because of like work and everything. Usually I'm asleep during these shows, but it's just like you knew something had to be up if I was staying awake. Hey, what's up, Jack? Pizza rolls, Mountain Dew, Doritos. Man, careful with the calories, dude. But yeah, finally, after all this time now, Saturday night's main event has concluded. And John Cena's in-ring career has officially come to an end. And my gosh, what a way it went out. Because I actually watched this show from beginning to end, not just for Cena's main event. I saw the whole thing. We saw Cody and Obafemi. I had a feeling you were going to get Drew McIntyre involved and everything to try to protect them. The women's match, I was impressed by Bayley and Sol Ruka and all that. That was actually pretty good, and I did like the finish there. Tag match, fast-paced with Dragon Lee and AJ versus Javon Evans and Leon Slater, I believe his name is. Hey, what's up, Cody? It's been a little while, dude. And then that main event. Like, I'm not going to lie when I say this, like, the entire time that this was going on. 1 second. Yo, what's up, Smith? Oh, he's just pissed about the botch. I know the whole thing of trying to springboard like phenomenal forearm and he slipped. Hopefully AJ's okay. But it's like no joke. When this whole Cena thing started to begin, I did not let go of my spinner belt. In fact, it is still sitting here in my arms right now. Like, I did not let this belt go this entire time. And I'm still holding it now because it's just like, it's crazy to think, like, I started watching wrestling 20 and a half years ago. And the WWE champion at the time was John Cena with the exact same spinner belt. Gunther was getting go away heat tonight, I know. And usually to get go away heat, like vicious, hard heat, like in wrestling, usually you have to like insult like the audience, like in some way or whatever. But like Gunther did not have to do that. Just been like, oh, we're in Washington, D.C., and you guys have the Capitals here and all that other nonsense. He's a heel that didn't have to resort to that, thankfully, for this one. Cena plays Undisputed sitting on my TV. That's actually a surprise there, seeing how much vitriol you've had against Cena after all these years, dude. Not happy even Triple H got booed. I know, and I'll talk about it in just a moment. But, like I said, I was holding this spinner belt this entire time because, like I said, Cena was the WWE champion when I first started watching 20 years ago. And it's just crazy. Like, I know I did not see it like live as it happened like his entire career since the beginning, but I have gone back and watched a lot of the stuff from like the early days where he's wearing the colors to represent whatever team's going on for whatever city he's in. And then like the whole basic Dr. Thugonomics, and then the evolution into being the guy. It's just like, I know a lot of people have given Cena like grief and everything for being the top guy and everything, but there's something I think a lot of people have forgotten when it comes to being the champion. And I had to push the home button on my Switch controller because there might have been background noise coming from playing Pokemon Legends ZA going on in the background. I'm trying to filter that out. But it's just like, one thing we all got to remember when it comes to these like top guys is that not only do they have the company on their shoulders, like to like a hardcore like representing the company, but it also comes with such a heavy schedule for representing the company, like all the media appearances, no real time off or anything like that. Like we saw that with Cena, like he rarely ever missed outside of injuries. Like I know he missed like 1 week after Backlash '08 because Randy Orton punted him in the head in that fatal 4-way with JBL and Triple H. So he missed like 1 week. He did not miss when he got quote unquote fired by the Nexus. So it's like that's a hefty burden to have being the top guy because you're going to have a heavier schedule compared to like anybody else being on the road, the media appearances and everything. Like that's a heavy responsibility, especially for how long Cena did it for. That's pretty nuts. It's pretty nuts. So he was giving back. That's why he tapped. And again, I'll mention that in just a moment when going over the match. Only Cena will give him respect for what he's done. I know that, and I know you hate Cena. That's why I keep trolling you during the Fortnite streams. Where he so pulled Cena, Super Cena moves. That was absolutely nuts. Me and John Cena sword just for Cena in Washington. And that was a surprise. Because, like, even look at all the tributes and everybody's paying him. Like, all these different sports teams from all these different sports, like, paying homage to him and everything. That just shows the kind of, like, reach that he had over the years. Hey, what's up, Charles? How you doing tonight, dude? But yeah, that main event, I gotta admit, I was actually very impressed with how it turned out. Yeah, it became kind of typical with certain, like, main event level matches and everything, where it's just, like, certain moves got spammed and everything. But it's nuts, like, how this all went down. Great seeing Kevin Owens, I know. That was actually a really cool thing. Santina's had was 2003. Actually, no, that was 2004. Because he technically willingly tapped out last time back at No Way Out 2004 because it was a triple threat Cena, Big Show, Angle. Cena tapped out, and that's where Angle got the title match against Eddie Guerrero at WrestleMania. And they counted like a tap out submission on an episode of Raw after that, like next year in 2005, because he faced Kurt Angle in a one-on-one match, and then out came Eric Bischoff, the Raw GM, and Cena was trying to grab for the ropes, but then Eric Bischoff grabbed his hand, slammed it on the canvas, and rang the bell saying like, oh, he tapped. So like that was the last time he counted as a submission up until like he lost to Rusev at Fastlane 2015 because he passed out there. But in terms of like a willingful submission, this was the first time since No Way Out 2004. So there was that. Tournament tour was bad from the moment Rock Scott mentally abandoned it. Turning was bad. The Brock match was bad. Yeah, because this is like that's what happens when they didn't have plans set in stone. Because like Travis Scott being there, it didn't make sense. The Rock, they had no real follow up going on there. Because like I will give them credit. Like it was an amazing moment and shocking moment to see him turn heel after over 20 years. But the fact that they had no follow-up plans, that's just where everything fell apart. And then he's just like, oh, you people, and I'm breaking up with you, and all that stuff. And I remember it felt weird that when he was trying to get out of the SummerSlam match in a way with Cody, he's like, oh, I can't have the match. I got a lot on my plate. I'm under a lot of stress. Some people on Twitter were speculating like, oh, he could be turning babyface. It's just like, yeah, he turned babyface after that, but that was not a symbol of him turning babyface because what kind of babyface like tries to get out of a match? Like he's the guy that's been known to be hardworking, constant, never give up, constant schedule and everything. So it's just like it felt like people were like thinking he was turning face before it actually happened based on the storyline. Like a match of retirement was with Sammy. I still got to see the other matches. I did see the Sammy match because I saw it on SmackDown because that was the night AJ Lee came back. I want to see his other matches. I know I did see that moment where he gave the Sister Abigail in the match with AJ, which I absolutely love. That whole moment, fantastic. Getting over the flu. Oh, man, I can't. Thank goodness you're feeling better, dude. Yes, I forgot. Thank goodness I reminded you. To be honest, the heel turn was unnecessary. I think Cena even mentioned that they only did it just to give a moment, and it was a moment because like it was something we never thought we would see again. There were some moments where we could have gotten it over the years, but to finally have it happen, it's like at least we can say that it happened. Never the biggest Cena fan. I have to admit, Cena is a legend, and he did deserve this. Exactly. Like, the guy paid his dues, and like I mentioned before, like, you look at the schedule he had to abide by being the top guy, it's just like, that's not easy. Roman and Cody being in the Street Fighter movie. I actually saw like some of the images. I mean, like Cody being Guile in there. That's actually pretty funny. Like, maybe I'll check out the Street Fighter movie when it comes out. But it's just like I'm hoping it's gonna be good. The anti-scene around 2015 US title run. I think that was like the period where he started to gain reception from everybody, like being like, okay, yeah, he's not as bad as people think, having a lot of amazing matches, giving the US title a purpose. So like, can give credit there. Moment, but it doesn't make sense. Yeah. Because again, that's what happens when they did not have plans set in stone. Let's see. Especially since we all knew we had like 8 months left. I mean, they probably also just wanted to give a big moment to like give some kind of like, because at least with Cena they gave him like a new dynamic in a way, but it's just like it still felt weird because like also like you look at his logic, like now all of a sudden he had a problem with the fans and like them taking and giving him the negative reception after going through it for 20 years. It just felt like if he was going to use that as a motive, it should have been done sooner rather than waiting 20 years for this to finally come out. Like if he did it during the whole rise above hate thing with Kane. Having Travis Scott was waste, big time. Left to make millions and coming back. Hogan did the same. Undertaker retired multiple times. Well, I mean, technically Taker only technically retired once. He would have retired again, like, or originally at WrestleMania 33 if that match would have turned out better with Roman. I mean, like, you got to remember, like, you look at names like The Undertaker and everything, he's not like Ric Flair would be like, or even Terry Funk, lose a retirement match, come back, retire, come back, retire, come back. All the guys came back for a big payday, Saudis pumping millions into it. I mean, like, I wish we could forget about Shawn Michaels coming back. So winning the Intercontinental title is also just for a moment. Yeah, just to give him that one title he never held, and now he's finally a Grand Slam champion. Cena will wrestle again. Honestly, I don't see that happening now because I know Maven brought it up in his video where he talked about WWE Unreal. It's like you could see in Cena's face where he admitted that physically he can't keep going. Like, I don't see Cena ever having a match again, honestly. I don't see it happening. Cena winning the IC title too. Should have taken off Dom, lost it in the match to Cena. That would have been nice. That would have been nice. But at least then Dominic can also say that he got a win over Cena. I mean, that's a nice rub for him. So since the Boneyard match, yeah, and Undertaker's actually Undertaker even admitted when they did the documentary on his career, saying now he feels fulfilled. He's like perfectly happy with the last match, and he has no desire to ever get back in the ring. It's like, yeah, it's sad that his last match did not happen in person in front of fans, but it's like, you know what? At least he went out on a high note. So he's not Flair, exactly, because Flair does not know the meaning of retirement. Stone Cold came back, Russell Owens. Yeah, but even though with Stone Cold, it wasn't like in Saudi Arabia, like money wasn't a big like giant payday influencing him, and he was away for almost 20 years. You know? Hey, Brian, what's up, dude? Cena is another inspiration, absolutely. Leaning forward a lot. Yeah, I've also seen the videos like somebody's showing like Cena out in public and everything, seeing like he's been leaning forward a bit more when like moving around. It's just like it seemed like he's having some spinal issues. It was a perfect match too. In fact, before I talk about the match, let me quickly grab a bottle of Coca-Cola because my throat's getting dry. But let me grab the Coca-Cola and then we'll talk about this match tonight from Saturday night's main event. Because man. Oh, man. Ugh. Even when I sit down, I got to have the spinner belt in hand and everything. Because let's see, he saw his career winding down. Who do you think he will wrestle as his final opponent? That's a good question. Because it's like, it would have been nice if he could have like a match with maybe like Christopher Daniels or Kazarian if they ever came into WWE. But it's like Christopher Daniels, he's essentially retired now, I believe, and Kazarian is back over in TNA. I mean, it would be nice if he could wrestle somebody that he had a whole career, like somebody from TNA from his old days and everything, kind of as a nice way to wind down. Are also sick of Gunther's boring matches. He's had better matches than I think a lot of people give him credit for. Like, you look at the triple threat that he had at WrestleMania a couple years ago with Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. I mean, ending Goldberg's career is a nice feather in his hat and everything. Like, I think Gunther is better than what people give him credit for. He doesn't have to do like a billion different kinds of moves in one match in order to assert his dominance or to even get over. So it's needs Samoa Joe to come back. I mean, with like, I can understand like if Triple H was like if he was free and Triple H being around, because I think Triple H was a Samoa Joe guy, like really believed in him. It would be nice, but it's like you also got to remember like Joe, he's had a lot of injury issues during his time in WWE. So, I mean, that would be a nice like final opponent choice. Well, like, I don't know if Joe would be available by that point. Joe won the match, retained title in honor of Cena. Dude, that's actually pretty sick. It's actually pretty sick. What are your thoughts on David Otunga's video claiming Cena was a bully? I still haven't seen that video yet. I did hear some comments, like where he mentioned talking about like Michael Tarver. We know the story, like some of the rumors about the whole thing with Alex Riley. I would love to finally hear the truth about that. But I still got to see that video to hear what he said. Drew is my guy, earning from him get another push, but they keep making him soft. I mean, Drew's the guy who's like, he can, even if he doesn't win like certain big matches, he can still bounce back like with his character work and everything and still maintain relevancy. I mean, maybe he'll win the WWE Championship in 2026 in the early part, because I think that would be a nice thing for him to finally win again. Maybe Styles versus Jericho when he returns. You know what? I would be on board with that. Especially like because like we know Jericho's career has got to wind down at some point. Because I mean, there's rumors that he could be coming back at any time. You never know. I mean, plus like you got to remember, like AJ Styles' first WrestleMania match was against Jericho. They could actually run that back a little bit, saying like, "Hey, we got history here. You beat me my WrestleMania debut, Jericho, and now there's unfinished business." So that works. Oh. I did not think my bottle would crack like that. Drew beat Brock clean, and they're wasting it. I'm Drew McIntyre, and I beat Brock Lesnar. Man. And I think there's also been rumors that Brock could be retiring next year, too. So it's like a lot of careers could be winding down, and it's just really nuts. But now let's finally talk about the match and what happened afterwards in terms of like the video package, the crowd reception, all that. So Cena finally coming down. And like I said, I held my spinner belt this entire time. I did not let go of this thing for a second when this entire match was going on. Cena coming down. Oh, 1 second. Hey, what's up, Nick? It's been a little while. So Cena coming down. The crowd reception was absolutely amazing. Natal's saying last time is now with the dates and everything there. It's just like I even posted on Twitter saying this does not feel real. Because it's like it's crazy to see somebody who's been like essentially the focal point of your wrestling time as a wrestling fan pretty much the entire time, ever since the very beginning, finally hanging it up. And I do like how they had Lillian giving the introduction, like, because, like, I know, like, we just about everybody who's made ring introductions has done so for Cena, like Lillian Garcia, Tony Chimmel, Justin Roberts, Howard Finkel a little bit. But it's like, I think Lillian, outside of Howard Finkel, is like the voice you think of when it comes to announcing Cena. And that just going through that introduction was amazing. And Cena and Gunther put on a very hard-hitting match. Like, I think this was one of those matches where it's like, it could have gone either way with like who could have won this, because like I don't think anybody would have a problem with either one winning and all that. Highly matched table spot, and I'll mention that in just a bit. Cena not giving up, passed out easily, save face. Well, again, I'll talk about that, my thoughts on that in just a moment. But it's just like it felt like I did like how Cena was even giving back to the fans like the whole 5 knuckle shuffle a couple times. Like the whole "you can't see me" and like 5 moves of doom like a few times. The STF, multiple AAs, even Michael Cole calling one of them the FU, which is like, Cole, it's not PG. But like, I gotta be impressed by Gunther getting like that heel heat and everything. Like I said, without even having to resort to doing what heels typically do, which is like like getting on the mic and insulting the crowd or like their sports teams or anything, because that's not an easy thing to do nowadays. Usually, to get heel heat, you really got to go to that or go to like something like borderline racism with your remarks or anything to really get that negative reaction. And it's very rare because usually if you're a heel, chances are you're going to get a positive or mixed reaction because fans, for some reason, fans just don't want to give the heels the negative reaction that they intend to get. Like, it kind of throws things off. It was pretty gnarly with that, like, announce table spot that Matt Poles was just mentioning a bit ago. Because, like, Gunther, he looked like he was going to powerbomb Cena off the steel steps through the announce table. Instead, Cena gave it to Gunther. It looked a little scary because it looked like Gunther was kind of hitting the edge of that announce table there. Because, like, Cena didn't look like he fully threw him far enough. But it's, like, just multiple AAs everywhere, including, like, an avalanche one. Cena smiling and winking to, like, the crowd and all that. Just multiple AAs, the constant sleeper holds. Like, Gunther was determined to deliver on his promise, saying he was going to get Cena to give up. Lariat after lariat, dissecting Cena, eating up the crowd, trying to make sure, like, oh, Cena's done. Like, check him, ref. Power bombs and everything. Let's see. Here. Cena beat Punk. Punk beats Gunther for the belt. And now Gunther beats Cena. It's like rock, paper, scissors of sorts there. But it's like, I know some people are kind of, like, iffy with that finish because, like, Cena, he kept getting out, then locked back in the sleeper hold, and finally at the end, he actually, like, even though he smiled, which felt a little weird during this, he physically tapped out. So the first time he had a subconscious, like, intentional, like, I give up moment for the first time since No Way Out 2004. First time in over 20 years. And it's just like, I know it's weird for a guy who says never give up to actually submit, because like we know he never lost an I Quit match or anything, but to physically tap out for the first time in over 20 years and the first time since he began this whole never give up moniker, it's very surprising. Because this is like, it's one of those things you thought you would not see because of what we had gotten used to seeing on television in regards to his character after all these years. Imagine if it was LA Knight versus John Cena. I'm surprised we didn't see. I don't know if we saw LA Knight even around ringside unless I missed it or anything. But that would have been nice. Field 2026, a lot of darts being thrown at the wall for idea for the superstars. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. But I mean, like that's also another big way because like we know the tradition usually is in wrestling that you put somebody over on your way out. I know not everybody abides by this because, like, I know, like, Undertaker, he did not put over AJ Styles on his way out like you usually see people do. I'm not going to count Stone Cold, though, because, like, he did technically in his last full-time retirement match. He was supposed to have had a match at Taboo Tuesday 2005, but he didn't want to lose to Coachman. He came back for this one-off match with Kevin Owens. I think I can kind of give that a bit of a pass. Like, he put over The Rock on his way out for his full-time retirement. Shawn Michaels in his last full-time match, excluding the disaster in Crown Jewel, he put over The Undertaker on the way out. Ric Flair, at least in his last WWE match, he put over Shawn Michaels. And then we wish we could forget the TNA and stuff in his quote-unquote final match. Because, again, Ric Flair does not know the meaning of retirement. Let's be honest. What's next for LA Knight? Who knows? Only time will tell because I think we keep getting conflicting reports on whether or not the company thinks highly of him. Match over Cody match 2. Was not happy about it. It felt a little weird. Like, I think they might have rushed the finish a little bit because of Cody, like, bleeding from the ear because of the announce table moment. But who knows? Fans predict something. It's good. Give it to us. An OB clean win and relatively fast. I mean, Oba is still fresh and, like, in everything in the business. Like, he's got a promising career. Like, I know he's going to go a long way. Even with this finish and everything, it's not going to hurt him. He's going to be just fine when he comes up to the main roster. He's going to be a major player. We've seen it didn't get speech, so we didn't have to worry about Peacock cutting him off. I think that's what everybody's worried about. It's like, oh, he's going to give a speech, and all of a sudden, halfway through the speech, cut. But I know the crowd wasn't happy and everything, but it's just like Cena, I think it was right for him to lose to Gunther, give the rub to the more fresher guy and everything on his way out of wrestling and everything. Because it's like, now that's another big win in Gunther's cap. He's 2 guys in the same year who he's beaten in their final matches with, like, legendary status and everything. Like, that's a pretty big accolade for Gunther right there. It's like, he's always, like, thankfully he's been, like, he's got that intimidating and, like, monstrous look to him. He's kept that presentation going because I think we all remember before Vince left, there was rumors that Vince was going to bury him because he wasn't happy that, the segment with R-Truth did not get over the way that I wanted, so Gunther is going to be punished. And then thankfully Vince was gone, so he couldn't do that. Any of that nonsense. Lackluster retirement tour overall, C+ rating. Sami Styles gives great matches with him. The rest was wildly underwhelming. I did like how they gave some, like, throwbacks to some moments, like him doing certain, like, moves and everything is a throwback to guys that were, like, crucial to his career, like Edge and Undertaker and stuff like that. It's at least nice that he, like, helped give acknowledgement in some of the matches to those guys, but I still got to watch some of those matches back. But I felt like losing to Gunther was the right thing. Because, like I said, giving back, like, to the company on your way out. And I think, and it also is a big, like, also another big thing saying that Gunther was the first guy in over 20 years to make Cena intentionally tap out. Because, like, no other guy since Kurt Angle in 2004 has been able to say that. So, like, to be able to be the guy that was able to do that, not only that, but also in Cena's last match, that's a big accomplishment to have in his career. So then Cena's sitting in the ring, the crowd's giving a mixed reaction and everything, but then he's bowing, crowd giving him a standing ovation and earned. Everybody's coming out to the ring, surrounding ringside, and everybody's booing Triple H. You fucked up, you fucked up. And everybody's constantly saying fuck all the time, like saying it to Triple H and Gunther, and the audio's constantly having to get muted. And I'm just like, people, you can't say the fuck word. Because it's like, then you're going to constantly have muted audio and everything. But it's just like everybody going around there, Punk and Cody get in the ring. They hand Cena their championships to pose with them and everything. And it is nice to see Punk come back out there. Because, like, I know he's been going through stuff with his dog Larry recently passing away. My condolences to him, by the way, about that. Because, like, losing a pet is just, it's never easy. So, like, I'm hoping himself and AJ are just fine. But, like, seeing them get in the ring and pay their respect to Cena, having him hold up the championships, everybody else out of ringside, like, all the men and women, like, Demon Priest, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens going up there. We saw Eve Torres, Elias, a.k.a. Elijah, Trish, Booker, like, so many people going around there to pay their respects to Cena. The video package that played on that far off Titantron up there in the ceiling. And they actually showed Vince with his name on there in the video package from some of his remarks about Cena. It's like, this is the first time we have had Vince's name actually being shown or his likeness or anything. I think ever since that night where Stephanie announced that Vince had retired initially. Not including when he came back with the mustache and was doing the whole thing about, like, trying to do the whole merger thing with TKO and all that. And then going around, like, coming down to the ring saying, welcome to SmackDown! And then turn around and leaving. So it's like seeing, like, Vince appearing, like, on screen there in archival footage there. It's just like, what in the world? 'Cause, like, they didn't do that before when they did the latest CM Punk video where he was breaking down his different looks and showed him winning the title from Cena, because they did the different camera angles to hide that, hey, during the initial footage, we saw Vince in the aisleway being, I'm like, damn it, pal, he's got my WWE Championship. I mean, then they would have also had to show John laryngitis. But it's just like, I think this was the rightful end, and then Cena leaving his shoes in the ring, his wristbands and armband in there. Because, like, can't leave your boots in the ring because you haven't worn boots since 2002, technically. But I think that was a good way. And plus, like, him especially leaving those wristbands that say never give up in the ring, it's like he can't walk away with still wearing those and everything because he technically did give up. Jey Uso didn't tap out, but Cena did. Yeah, but you also got to remember anything involving Jay's booking and everything has kind of been like all over the place. Because, like, you got to look at the quality of Jay's performances and everything. Like, I know Jay is constantly said, like, oh, he doesn't like how people say he's just an entrance. But to be fair, like, in terms of criticism, Jay, you're not giving people a reason to say otherwise. Because, like, you've had a lot of times where you're just constantly stopping mid-match to yeet all the time and kind of getting sloppy in the ring and everything. And it's no wonder why he's back in the tag division with his brother. But it's just like, you also got to remember, like, Cena's older now. Like, his body is not, like, he's not the same guy that he used to be. His body's kind of more broken down compared to, like, Jay. So I think that can play a factor. But it's like, again, that's a big way to give back to the company and everything. It's like when Batista, like, came back and had his retirement match, which was, like, that was, like, already set, like, 6-7 years ago. He wanted to give back, and how did he give back? He lost to Triple H, a guy who had never beaten him one-on-one. There's like, you have those guys that are going to do their ways of giving back to the company. Like I said, Shawn Michaels gave back by putting over The Undertaker on his way out. Batista, like I just mentioned, he finally gave Triple H a one-on-one victory and finally retired. Cena, he's finally decided to give Gunther the big rub by actually submitting in the last match, and now Gunther can say he delivered on his promise. I mean, who knows where, like, Gunther's going to get propelled even further from here. Like, you know he's going to go for one of the 2 world titles again right after this now. Like, I don't know if he's going to get, like, maybe he's going to get a title shot coming up at WrestleMania. Like, maybe, I don't think he's going to win the Royal Rumble again. Like, well, then again, did he win the Royal Rumble before? Well, no, I don't think so. But, it's hard to remember some of these last few years in wrestling, but maybe he could win the Elimination Chamber, get a title shot against CM Punk, and kind of rewind back to what happened at SummerSlam, get revenge there and all that. But it's just like, this is a good way to really help Gunther's career, because Gunther, as long as he stays healthy and everything, he's going to be a main player, like even still going forward in WWE. Because remember, Gunther is no joke. 666-day title reign with the Intercontinental title. King of the Ring, multiple-time world champion, dominant force. Because it's like, it's not like Cena tapped out to like James Ellsworth or somebody, you know? War Games went back to tag teams. Yeet, yeet, yeet. Did Lou Goofy on the cage. I know, and that was the thing I was even trying to mention. It's like, all of a sudden, when there was downtime, he's like, hey, let's play it back, huh? Yeet. And then just stands up, yeet. It's just like, Jay, you're in a War Games match. You don't need to take time out to yeet during the match. I get that it's not full War Games where now a decision can be done, but you don't need to interrupt the match in order to keep doing that and everything during your match. Please focus on the action. But yeah, it just feels so surreal knowing that Cena's career is finally over. After 20 plus years in WWE, from coming out there and slapping Kurt Angle in the face, screaming ruthless aggression, to almost getting fired and reinventing himself by rapping on a bus that saved him, becoming white hot with his raps, United States champion a handful of times, becoming WWE champion, going through the mixed reactions and nuclear heat through crowds like in Money in the Bank 2011 and One Night Stand 2006. 2-time Royal Rumble winner, win the United States title and helped gain a prestige again in 2015, Intercontinental champion, multiple-time tag champion. It's just like Cena has done so much, and like I said, it was a big responsibility for him to be the top guy for so long and have all those responsibilities on his back. Like, being a proper representation through media appearances, constantly being on TV, being like on the road more often than just about anybody else on the roster. Because, like I said, he was like the big draw to sell tickets and everything when he was on top. People were there to see him, whether they cheered or booed him, and like to buy his merch and see him have matches and everything like that, to try to help with the business with the company and everything. Yeah, there were some iffy periods with some of the stuff he was doing, like the stuff with the Nexus and like, oh, bologna, fudge, and mustard and all that nonsense. But it's just like, like he didn't get himself into controversy and everything, like doing some messed up stuff like you see some other guys doing when they were on top. Like I said, with RVD getting busted for like possession of weed when he got pulled over in 2006 while he was champion. Or like Roman Reigns in 2016 when he, like, I think it was like he got caught with Adderall like in the wellness policy and had to drop the title and he had to be down the card for a little bit. It's just like he never had one of those instances where he got like nuclear heat while being the top guy or being a champion to the point where they had to take the title off him or anything, compared to some other guys over the years. But it's just like, it's like wrestling's not going to feel the same going forward. I think we can all admit it, especially for a lot of us that have seen Cena over the years and seen like his evolution. It was like it's leaving a major gap now. Because it's like, yeah, we got other guys that are filling that void of like being there to represent the company. But it's just like when you think of WWE within the last 20 years, you think Cena. Even when he was at part-time, you like immediately associate him with the company. Even when he got outside of the ring and everything and was getting into Hollywood, you still never forgot him. You saw the mainstream appeal he still had. And like I said, you even look at all the different sports and celebrities that were paying tribute to him and making posts on social media, like acknowledging him and everything. That just showed the reach that he had after over 20 years. And it's like, if anybody deserves like the retirement, it's him. Especially with all that work that he's done and all the Make-A-Wish like foundation like wishes that he committed to, and like setting the record on that. It's like he also had to make time for that and everything. Like that's a lot for one guy to go through and like working hard and everything. And in fact, to message John Cena, why am I not one of those people you're following on Twitter? I am hurt. Anyway, let's see. How do you feel if Gunther tapped out instead? Like it would have been nice, like for Cena to like go out. It's like, yeah, would have ended the show on a positive note, but I think Gunther needed the win more than Cena in terms of where they are in their careers. Because like it would have felt like if Hogan, like it would have felt like the whole Hogan beating Randy Orton thing in a way in 2006, where the guy who technically did not really need the win would have won. It's like the win should be to the guy who's going to be there still have a thriving career, still going to keep going and be there day to day and just constantly being a presence. So like it's a case where the younger guy needs it more than the older guy. So it's like I'm going to say that it's a good thing Gunther did not tap out or lose on this one. Watched back when he debuted, watched his first Mania appearance, rapping at 19. U.S. title, OG Cena was actually the GOAT. It's like, even when he was being a heel, he still got the positive crowd reaction and everything in a way, because like how creative his raps were and everything. Because like, yeah, the 19, even though they had mic problems at first when he was doing the rap on Heat before the show, winning the U.S. title from Big Show, having to give him 2 FUs. It's just like, it was cool to see him in 2004, like rising upwards, being white hot and everything. It's absolutely nuts. I think I even remember my boyfriend DJ even said that I think there might have been a Cena match that he saw at a house show. Like it might have been early 2004. Cause like he mentioned that when he went to a SmackDown Live event for the very first time, I think he mentioned like that Cena was around, so being white hot and everything. So it had to been like early 2004. Cause I think he said it was before Cena was US champion and had been a babyface. So I think that gave him like one of his first memories as well as other superstars. So it's like that was a white hot period and everything. And thank goodness Cena had that whole rapping thing on the back of the tour bus, because who knows how different his life and how different WWE would be if he didn't do that and still stick around WWE as planned. Remember when the crowd was mad at Cena chanting boring the night after WrestleMania 29? Man, I still remember that because I did my podcast episode talking about that. They were just like not happy, just like, oh, the crowd's electric. Oh, you guys want to see something? Oh, you want to see a kick? Or how about a dance? How about a heel turn? So it's just like the crowd was like just being white hot and goofy and everything. And well, of course, they were even cheering Ryback, who turned heel on Cena at the end of the show, like attacking him and giving the whole up yours motion, which Gunther even did to the crowd during this show tonight. It's just like, Gunther, that's also not PG. I mean, remember, you're airing on Peacock, not Netflix at the moment. I mean, unless they did like a simulcast or something. But it's just like, Gunther, you got to be careful with PG regulations. But it's just like, yeah, like that was like a weird segment and everything, but it's just like, it was a fun way to open that show the night of WrestleMania. I was at WrestleMania 29 myself when so many other fans were pissed off leaving the arena after Cena beat Rock. I mean, they had to do something for Cena's like redemption thing and everything after 28. It was like, oh, I'm losing a lot, and all that shit. So it's like they had to do something. I mean, yeah, it was nonsensical that like their original match, it was just like, oh, it's once in a lifetime, yet they do it twice. And it's like, and you also got to remember after WrestleMania 29, I mentioned this also in the podcast when talking about the Raw after WrestleMania, they said that The Rock was entitled to a rematch for the WWE title, but he was injured and could not be there on Raw. And The Rock technically never got his WWE title rematch against Cena. So it's just like, yeah. Oh, and I'm even seeing some comments on my Discord server. People talking about this. I'm even seeing Secondhand Wrestling saying he should have hired his old manager, Kenny Bolin, but had made sure that didn't happen. Like, I didn't even realize Kenny Bolin was even his manager. I swear I've heard the name before. But now even Secondhand Wrestling is thinking that he'll have another match in Saudi Arabia. Let's hope he doesn't even have another match in Saudi Arabia. Even if there's money, even if the Saudi Arabian government wants to see a match. Like, you got to remember, the Saudi Arabia government doesn't even fully know who's alive and who isn't. Like, they thought they requested Yokozuna to even have a match there, not realizing Yokozuna passed away in 2000. Mania 28 was supposed to be once in a lifetime. Yeah, and then they decided, oh, we got to have a redemption. Because Cena, he's going to go like having a downfall for the most part in 2012. And now we got to have him redeem himself by defeating The Rock. Being like, oh, he failed before him. Now he's going to try to right the wrong. All that stuff. Questioning BS after Booker T came out and now it's Rock was injured. Yeah, again, I know because I've talked about that on the podcast. Talked about that Raw. I don't know how many months ago it was. Like, oh, The Rock is not here tonight. Bullshit. But again, it's gonna feel so weird knowing now that like we'll see Cena like from time to time. We don't know how often, like in terms of just appearing in the ring. Because like I know he mentioned in one of his interviews, just recently, he's now signed like a ambassador role contract. So he's gonna be contracted to WWE still for another 5 years in an ambassador role. So it's like we don't know how often, but like we know we were gonna see him again off and on in WWE, and at some point he's got to get inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Like maybe he'll be in 2026. We know he's not going to be the headline like first person because we know Stephanie was announced to be the first inductee because The Undertaker announced it. But it's just like either he's going to get inducted in 2026 or maybe 2027 at the latest because like he definitely deserves it with his Hall of Fame career. In fact, when the hell is Batista going to finally get inducted? In fact, let me see when it was announced he was going to get inducted. Because, like, I know that, like, he was announced to be inducted, but he still hasn't been put in yet. Let me see. Okay, let me see. So, before the pandemic, because, like, I'm seeing on a Wikipedia... I know people might say Wikipedia is not a good point to go by, but you also got to remember there are references there, so I'm making sure of that first. Saying that December 9, 2019, WWE officially announced that Batista will be inducted into the Hall of Fame as part of the class of 2020. It was postponed due to the pandemic. It was announced that he would actually be involved in 2021. However, prior to the event, Batista was removed from the list, and he confirmed his removal, citing previous obligations as the reason he could not attend in 2021. It said that WWE honored his request to induct him at a future ceremony. So it's like, I would say, because like I can understand them not doing 2020 because of the pandemic, and then if was busy in 2021, that's understandable not to do it too. I would say at least, like, who knows who else is also going to be inducted in 2026? We know Stephanie's going to be there. I would say put her and Batista in there, and then whoever else you got to put in. Like, I'm still wishing they would put Miss Elizabeth in. She's long overdue for her induction in there. I'm trying to even think of some celebrities they could put in. It's not easy to think of any celebrities they could put in because they put in so many people. Because like I could throw out some random names, but I can't think of any that aren't. Is Cyndi Lauper in there? Let me see. WWE Hall of Fame. No, Cyndi Lauper still isn't in yet. Huh, that's a surprise. So it's like, even if I had to say like 2026, I would say we got Stephanie confirmed. I would say put in Batista, Miss Elizabeth. I'd say for a celebrity wing, bring in Cyndi Lauper. If you have to put like the Warrior Award of sorts, of some kind, let's see. They put in Tim White there. They put Shad Gaspard. Okay, thank goodness, because I honestly had forgotten. They put Titus O'Neil in there. Sue Aitchison, who was one of their behind the scenes individuals. Jarius Robertson, Eric LeGrand, John London. They put a good amount of people in there. Connor the Crusher. Okay, that was understandable. Even if I had to choose, like maybe like some kind of Warrior Award. Let me see. There's the guy Logan Paul filming the forest. Come on, dude. Come on. Cena plates or planning for the belt? No, I still have not bought any plates whatsoever. And right now, I'm still not planning to because just having plates are just not my thing right now. But let's see. So put in Stephanie, put in Batista, Miss Elizabeth, Cyndi Lauper. If I had to put in a tag team or group, put in Demolition, because that's finally overdue. Warrior Award, if I had to at least say somebody in WWE in terms of like perseverance, and like maybe they could give it to Cena if they're not going to put him in the Hall of Fame in 2026, because in terms of that, like if they were going to do a Warrior Award this year, he would be a good fit for that. Legacy Award, let's see, did they put... Let's see, did they put Terry Funk? Oh, Terry is in, because he has been in since 2009. I don't know who I could say for, like, even in Legacy, like, award, because they've put about just about everybody who has since passed on in there. Because, in fact, like the 2018-2019 years, they put in a lot of people into that Hall of Fame for Legacy Award. If they even also had to put in a match, like an immortal moment, at least in WWE, either put in Randy Savage, Ric Flair, or Ricky Steamboat from WrestleMania 3, or maybe even Shawn Michaels, Undertaker from WrestleMania 25. either that or maybe they're a Hell in a Cell match for like an Immortal Moment if they're going to honor a match, because I don't think there's anything wrong with inducting, like putting a match in the Hall of Fame, because like we saw that with Bret Stone Cold this year, and that was a perfect fit for that. So yeah, put all of them, put Demolition in there. I can't think of any for the Legacy Award just because it's hard to think of anybody who hasn't been put in yet that's since passed on. Have you gotten any Ted DiBiase Jr. updates? I don't think there's still been any updates yet involving him. He's still just in hot water because of all the stuff that he's been alleged to have done. So, haven't heard any updates there, but yeah, this has just been a whirlwind of a night because, like I said, I don't watch full WWE shows very often live as they happen. But it's like, this is definitely the end of an era now. Of John Cena finally hanging it up. And it's like, it's nuts. Like, who knows when his next appearance is going to be? Because, like, it would be nice for him to give, like, a farewell speech on an episode of Raw rather than waiting until, like, he gets inducted to the Hall of Fame. Because, like, Goldberg was able to give one. I mean, yeah, he got into the Hall of Fame before retiring and everything, but it would be nice for Cena to give, like, a in-ring farewell speech to the audience, like, on an episode of Raw before getting inducted to the Hall of Fame. Just, the question's got to be when, because, like, they'll probably wait until, like, 2026, because I know the dates were going on with his in-ring career. So it's like, I don't think we're going to see him on any episodes of, like, Raw or SmackDown or anything for the rest of this month. But it's like, it would be nice to see him when he can, like, on maybe the first episode of Raw for 2026, he could do this. Come out on Raw and give, like, his retirement farewell, full-on farewell speech. Because, like, I feel like he just definitely deserves that. Do it that could be a good plan there. We're going to have Punk versus Braun Breaker for the World Heavyweight title on that Raw, and give us Cena giving his retirement/farewell speech on that episode of Raw, too. I think that would be a very good fit. Coca-Cola. But yeah, this was a whirlwind of a night. I'm not gonna lie. And it's gonna be weird to think that Cena's career is done. We're never gonna see him wrestle again, and now the other guys are gonna have to try to fill that void in his absence. But anyway, I'm going to leave this here for tonight. I'm going to keep playing some Pokemon Legends EA on my Switch. Got to keep shiny hunting and finishing off that DLC there. But let me know, for anybody who's watching this on the replay, let me know what you all thought in the comment section below about Cena's retirement and how everything transpired. Maybe even your comments on what you thought about his retirement tour overall. Because, like, I'm going to be here in this defense saying that how this ended for, like, his last match, I feel was the right thing. In terms of what happened. In terms of him getting back on his way out and giving Gunther that big moment of actually making Cena tap out. I feel that was the right call. Anyway, let me know all in the comment section below. Subscribe here on the channel with the bell turned on for notifications. And the next podcast episode will be this Wednesday. Talk about Shawn Michaels' first WWF title run they had in 1996. And then next week will be the episode of Raw, the Christmas special of 2012. So that was December 24, 2012. Going to be next week for the podcast. And I've got an idea what I want to do for Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. It's going to be one of those episodes where wrestling was like a wrestling episode was put into a TV show. I'm not going to say what it is yet. I don't want to spoil it, but those are going to be the plans for the next few episodes. But hopefully you all enjoyed. Let me see here real quick a moment before I go. Any Royal Rumble predictions? I don't really have one yet. Because, again, we don't know who the company's big on just yet. But maybe I'll have predictions as the Royal Rumble approaches next month. But anyway, thank you, everybody, for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out. Good day. Good night, everybody. And thank you, Cena, for the memories.